So here we are with today's arrivals from Ukraine, and tell us something about your journey here and what things were like in your home before you left.
The things at home were pretty calm, I would say, because we're not like near all the borders. The only enemy border near us was like Belarus and stuff. But since they didn't start going from there right after,
So why did you leave home?
because it was getting closer and closer to us, and now that we left our homes, literally this night we get to know that regions near ours are getting bombed. It's all on the news. We had to call my dad because he's still there.
He's still there.
We had to call him at like 3 a.m. because we got an alarm on our phones.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He went to the shelter. We had to call him at like 3 a.m. because we were scared for it, because it was not just an emergency in the city because of like missiles going everywhere. It was an emergency in like entire Ukraine. My friend told me that they are like getting bombed. They're just hearing sounds. It's like how do I say? It's like Poltava region. She was there and she told me that they're getting the emergency and they're hearing some shots or something like that. And like after 15 minutes after she said that to me, we get an alarm that our city is also in danger. So we had to call our dad and tell him to go to the shelter.
How was life in Rivne before you left? Did you go every night into the bomb shelter, or just when there was an air raid siren?
We would sleep in the shelter. Usually we would have to close all doors. We would have to like put blankets on the doors, windows.
Why did you put blankets on the doors and windows?
So if actually there is like a helicopter or like an aircraft with a warship on it, we would like it would seem like we're not home and there's no reason.
There's no light. Yes, yeah, so you're blocking out the light.
Yeah, so it's like the thing that was mentioned on all the TVs of Ukraine, like to close your doors, turn off the lights after 10 because we have like a specific time that we have to like not go out of our homes. I'm not sure how it's called in English, but like when you're allowed to
Curfew.
go everywhere.
It's actually a French word. It's curfew, which comes from couvre-feu, cover the fire. So that means you have to cover the fire at a certain time.
Yeah, basically like.
So this is your brother now, isn't it? It's Misha. Hello. Say hello, Misha.
What?
This is Mr. Youssef.
At 10 p.m. you would be said to stay at home, and if you were found outside of your home, you would probably be called an enemy. People would start like either call a police on you because you're outside after like.
Okay, and why are they suspicious of people walking around at night?
There is an issue with like we have an hour, a specific time until 10 p.m. You're fine, but if you're out after 10 p.m. you might be you might be suspected as a enemy because there are a lot of people who were getting paid, like people who live in Rivne, like literally Ukrainians. They would get paid for drawing crosses with like specific paints that would be seen by enemy missiles.
To guide missiles.
To guide the enemy. So those people would usually be just called police on. They would just get arrested, or either were like trying to provoke the police, they would get shot or something. But luckily we don't have that many incidents like that in our city. It's only times like.
So how do most people you've been in Rivne? Were you freely moving around and talking to people before this kind of lockdown happened? What was people's reaction? What did people think about it when it all started? Like, was it 2 weeks ago?
It started like 6 p.m. I got like.
When did it start? Like 2 weeks ago or something like that. How did people react?
24th.
What did all your friends think about that when these problems started?
I just remember this like anyone else, like any Ukrainian child you will ask will answer the same thing. My parents woke me up saying it's a war. The situation is bad. They announced the war. It's like anyone can tell. Maya can say that, Misha can say that.
What can you remember about when you first heard about these difficulties, Maya?
Okay, I woke up. My brother woke up me and said that war started. I was shocked because I don't know, it was the usual morning, So yes.
Can I ask you a difficult question? A lot of people in the West, outside of Ukraine, and also some people in Russia, would say that it's Ukraine's fault that this war has started, and that President Putin is trying to rescue the Ukrainian people so that they can determine their own future. What do you think about that?
it's really, I don't know, hard to hear some information like this, that Ukraine is, it's, I don't know, it's Ukrainian fault because it's not our fault, it's fault Putin, you know?
But what about Ukrainians being able to determine their own future? You know, do you think that this will enable Ukrainian people to choose their own future, or do you think you already have that possibility to choose your own future?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Madame?
Як думаєш, оця от ситуація дасть людям визначати своє майбутнє в лучшому случаї, якщо нас захватять або ще нісь?
I mean, Mr. Putin's suggesting that he's freeing the Ukrainian people to enable them to choose their own future.
Коротше, питають, типу, як думаєш, коли нас все-таки захоплять і Путін все-таки визволить українців, типу, це буде рахуватися більшою можливістю для нас розвиватися як країні чи ні?
Ну, переведеш, однозначно.
Definitely not. It's like a real problem. It's nothing that he mentions. No one wants to join Russia. It's like the worst possible thing to happen to
Ми не
Ukraine.
зможемо мати демократію, таку, як маємо зараз.
We won't have democracy, even though we don't have like
Did you have democracy before
Yeah.
2 weeks ago?
partly like Ukraine is a corrupt country as well, but it's not as corrupt as Russia. We have a changing president. We have a changing government. We have different things we can choose, and we have.
So when you say you have a corrupt country, Zelensky was elected what with 76% of the vote. Is it fair to say that he probably got more than half at least of the vote? Because of course.
Зеленського було на виборах. Скільки?
73%.
Да, 73%.
Зараз його підтримує вся Україна.
He's now supported by entire Ukraine because he's the
Yeah.
president that didn't leave us at this hard time, just like President Yanukovych did. As soon as he smelled that something is going wrong, he ran to Russia.
And the previous presidents, the previous prime minister, there was a lady who was a prime minister, wasn't there before?
Прем'єр-міністр у нас
Женщина, хто у нас був? Тимошенко?
Тимошенко.
But from different parties. They're from different parties.
Yes.
З них
And
партія.
they're all supporting each other. Are they now in this time?
Тимошенко підтримав цього Януковича Росію.
Ні,
А її
частково
нема,
вообще.
її нема, вона сховалася.
She's no more in Ukraine. She's not mentioned anywhere. She's just not found.
Is she the lady with blonde hair and plaits?
Yeah, Юлія Тимошенко.
Oh, well, she was speaking on British television in favor of Zelensky last week. Last week, she was speaking on British television.
What was
Oh, she was supporting the Ukraine, you know.
Кажуть, що на минулому тижні Тимошенко появлялась на
And they introduced her as the previous prime minister of Ukraine.
і її припинесли, типу, як прем'єр-міністр
Є
України
в нас
минулого.
Шмигаль,
Як
прем'єр.
минулого.
Ну вона в Україні взагалі її немає зараз.
What-
She's
what-
not in Ukraine. She never supported Ukraine, and she was a part of like all the things happening in Ukraine. She was the part of the corrupt scheme that our government was making. So she's not like a part of Ukraine, and no one wants to count her as one.
Well, anyway, she's been talking to the media in Britain anyway.
Піариться.
What language were you speaking just now?
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian. Some people say people in Ukrainian they don't speak Ukrainian; they speak Russian. Like in Kiev, everyone speaks Russian, not Ukrainian. Is that true?
Actually, it's not true. Like 50-50. Some people speak Russian, some people speak Ukrainian, you know?
І це не
Does it? If everyone who speaks Russian, does that mean that they like that they are happy with the Russians coming
it's
in?
Not mean like that. They like they can like Ukraine, but they can speak Russian. It's no problem.
It's a bit like if you go to Ireland and people speak English to you, it doesn't mean to say that they're really pro-English. Because everyone speaks English there. But in the countryside in Ukraine, what's the situation? Most people speak Russian or Ukrainian?
Ukrainian, I think.
In the countryside. Okay. Well, you're very welcome here, and we hope that we can look after you until the situation gets better. And we hope it gets better soon. So thanks for telling us about that, and all the best.